Welcome in, everybody. Ty Bartel, Anthony Hartwig in with another edition of Player Profile. It's just one of the top pitchers in the entire area.
Oh,
50 wins, 700 strikeouts plus in her career. Sydney Watts from Austintown, Fitch. Sid, how are we doing?
Good, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Not doing too bad. You're not having a bad season either with a great start of the year. Talk to me about coming into this year, Sid, because I mean, you've always kind of held a leadership role with this team, but now upperclassmen season, you really are taking in that leadership role. What has that been like for you, and what's your style been like kind of as a leader for the team?
I feel like ever since my freshman year, I knew I wanted to be a leader on the team. And I feel like being that this team is, I know I'm a leader on the team, but I feel like the team also is like so close. It's like we all respect each other.
so this team obviously coming off of a state championship last year, and that was obviously the ultimate goal for Austintown Fitch. So I'm wondering what it's been like this year, trying to repeat, being that reigning state champion and carrying the weight of kind of what that success brings and what that's been like for you and what it's been like for the team as well.
It's been the same like as past years. We've had to work hard for everything we've accomplished, and we didn't let the state title like define us. Like we know that no matter what, we still have to continue to work hard.
You are a high volume, high level pitcher, and you've faced some of the best, both with travel ball and with high school. It never seems like you get rattled too. Talk to me about just how you keep that ice in your veins too. When pressure cooking situations arise, what are you doing? What are you telling yourself to keep yourself so calm, cool, and collected?
It's not always been like that. When I was younger, I'd really get in my own head, and I feel like it was just something like as I became older, like I knew I had to grow into like just watching college pitchers and how like they are so composed. Like I knew I had to become that one day if I wanted to play at the collegiate level.
We've talked to a couple of your teammates already, and we've brought up the loss that you guys had this week and what that's done for you mentally. And from your perspective, taking that loss and it being the first loss since 2022, what has it done for this team to kind of feel that and to experience a loss for some of your players the first time, the sophomores on your team? What do you think it's done for the psyche and the mentality of the team going forward?
One loss doesn't define us, but Canfield is a very good team. Honestly, one of the best we will face all season. But sometimes a loss is, although it sucks, it's gonna make us work harder in the end.
For you guys too, it's got to be so hard to balance when you're hearing all the outside noise. Everyone's ranking you guys in the top 10. How has that been like for you personally, trying to balance out, knowing that you guys are a very good, very talented team, but not letting, I guess, the head get too big because of all the outside love you're getting?
The rankings are great and all, but sometimes it does bring a little stress, like knowing so much of that is like you're just expected a lot more when you are ranked in the top.
Those rankings also bring notoriety to the program, and everyone knows who Fitch is, and everyone's asking about Fitch. Even the games that I'm at when it's not Austintown Fitch playing, people are wondering what the score of the Fitch game is. What do you think it's done for softball in the area and to be able to bring attention to softball in Northeast Ohio?
I feel like it's done a lot. Ever since like the beginning of the school, like this season, I feel like there's just been like so many more people at our games, and like just it's like so nice seeing the whole community there to support us.
You're one of those flag bearers too, I think, that are bringing a lot of attention to softball in the area. But I'm kind of curious, where did softball start for you too? When did the first chapter start? When did you first find yourself picking up the ball and the glove?
I started playing travel ball when I was like 8, and that's like kind of when it started getting serious. I started going to my pitching coach Ed Beavers when I was like really young, and he's been there with me all the way up, and just like working with him and my dad constantly. That's really where it began.
You ended your recruiting process. So I'm wondering what this season is like now, knowing where you're going. You don't have to worry about, impressing coaches anymore or any of that nonsense. You know where you're going. How has it let you focus on Austintown Fitch even more and to just embrace the high school season and have fun with it just a little bit more than it did maybe the last 2 years when you were trying to, get on radars and work through this whole recruiting process?
Yeah, it's taken a lot of stress off my shoulders, like knowing I don't have to send like emails after games and like so worried about posting on Twitter anymore. But it's really nice knowing that I'm already playing for Georgia Tech. Like I'm playing for their name already.
You have a lot of I guess when you talk about your skill in softball too, your skill brings you value to be able to go to colleges like that because you have to invest so much time in your softball skill. I gotta imagine fitting in being academically sound and getting everything else is tough. Take me behind the scenes with that a little bit too, because I don't think many people quite understand when you have to put as much time into softball like you do, it doesn't leave a whole lot of time for everything else.
No, honestly, I feel like from a young age, like I've known how to balance it. Like I'm able to get like a lot of my schoolwork done in school, which really helps me. Like after school, knowing like, okay, I got this done. Maybe all I have to do is study after school, and then I have practice, maybe a little bit time for friends. But like honestly, it's knowing like while I'm in school, I need to like lock in for those 8 hours and get my work done, so I don't have much after school.
Yeah, and Ty brings up the academics. We talked about the leadership elevation that upperclassmen brings. What about the classroom and the workload that junior year brings, and how much harder it kind of gets once you're an upperclassman? How have you been handling the classroom so far this year?
I've been doing really good. I actually took the ACT again before our game yesterday. So like, just knowing like I have to like just be so locked in and getting like my schoolwork done again, and like just not letting like stuff like that carry into like once it's school time and then once it's like softball time, just knowing like the difference between both of them.
Talk to me a little bit about your journey as a pitcher too. What were some of the biggest challenges you had to face? How'd you overcome them?
Um, Honestly, probably one is definitely breaking my foot 2 years ago. But honestly, it's just like the outside noise. I feel like sometimes it's like a lot, like the rankings. Oh, losing a game, honestly, like getting like hate from that. That's the hardest part.
When I think of adversity, I always want to know how you came through it. So you just talked about some of the toughest parts of your journey. What were some of the ways that you got through it? Some of the ways that you kind of pushed through mentally, especially out of those times of adversity?
After breaking my foot, it was really just like knowing I had to work harder after that. And I feel like seeing my improvement continue like after I got out of my boot and like just having the support from my teammates and coaches really helped me along the way in my family.
Person over player is a mentality Coach Ward and that entire Austintown coaching staff likes to preach. How have you seen yourself grow as a person in your high school career so far?
It's just like I feel like being a good teammate is one of the most important things to the game. You have to like be able to trust the people behind you and your coaches, your teammates. And I feel like if you don't have that, just everything goes wild. Not like just like in the dugout, like people like fighting, but like you could see the difference between good teammates on the field, like making errors, not trusting each other. And I feel like we've just like the whole team has been great at that since my freshman year. So that's really nothing we really had to worry about.
Okay, this next question is going to be scary for the teams that play you guys, but you're always improving. You always find ways to get better. In what ways do you think you've improved yourself this year? What parts of the game have you gotten better at, or at least worked to get better at so far from last year?
Definitely, I have cut down on my walks a lot. I've had 3 or 4 walks in the past 7 games, and I feel like my freshman year I was like averaging 3 walks a game, and I feel like that's like been really important to me, knowing I need to trust my defense more. And I feel like that was the problem with my walks before. It was, oh, I need to do what I can to strike this batter out. Well, maybe sometimes I just have to throw a fastball and let the defense do the work.
Talk to me a little bit about your dad too. I know he's been a huge part of your ride. He's been a coach for a lot of teams. What are some of your favorite quotes from your dad over the years too? What are some of your favorite sayings from him?
Um, if you ever come to the game, it's always you see him in the outfield going like this, shorten your stride, shorten your stride. Because like when like he sits in the outfield, so it's like every time I turn around, he's just kind of there, and he just goes like this all the time. And I see it's just like because whenever like I get out of myself, it's because I'm overstriding in my pitches, and that's kind of like when balls start going wild and stuff. So it's just I just see him now feel going like this.
Just to piggyback on Ty's question, because now he's just not a supporter of this team. He's been brought on to help the program and to be a coach. What's that been like to see your dad kind of get even more involved with the program, especially the future of the program, and really help out with growing Austintown Fitch softball?
My dad, he knows a lot. He's been a coach since I've been so young, and just seeing like he's just been around the game for a really long time. Before what was it? I think Friday, the majority of the team went to fast pitch performance, and we practiced for like 3 hours, and just seeing like how dedicated the team is to getting better too. Like it's just been really nice.
What's that been like for you personally to always kind of have another coach that you could kind of go to any hour of the day?
I love it. Like he just like he knows so much, like I said, and I feel like just being able to talk to him about stuff and like knowing he knows what like he could see me like I obviously when I'm pitching I can't see myself and he sees the little things I'm doing to like help me get back like to where like know what I'm doing wrong.
We talked about your full-time coach with your dad. I want to real quickly though talk about Mama too, because Mom's the number one fan. She's the biggest fan. She's there every game too. She's always cheering you on. What has her support been like too? Not only with your whole softball career, the college process and everything.
She's my travel buddy. She's every tournament over the summer has always been just me and my mom, and just our bond. Like, it's she's my mom. Like, we did everything together this past summer, and just I love spending time with her.
Good catch, Ty. If we left Mama Bear out, she'd come after us on social media. Um, when you think about the goals that you still have for yourself that you want to accomplish this year for your person, we know all what the team goals are. We've talked to you about that. What are some of the goals that you still have on your goal board this year that you want to accomplish yourself?
One of the biggest things again is I want to like continue to cut down on my walks and know like I have my defense behind me to make the plays. Like I said, if I'm getting higher up in counts, knowing like, oh, if this pitch is a strike and they hit it, then the defense is going to be there. I don't have to worry about like moving it. It might possibly be a ball, but also my hitting's been struggling a little bit, and I want to get back into like hitting like I used to.
When you kind of talk about going through slumps like that, what are you telling yourself as a high level? Because we talk about every level of softball goes through it too. So what are you kind of telling yourself when you're trying to break yourself out of a slump?
Just stay within myself. A lot of times when I'm not hitting, it's because I'm trying to overhit the ball, and just like knowing like I have power. All I have to do is like swing like I know how to, and I'll get a good hit.
We asked a lot of pitchers that hit this. How much do you bring your pitcher's mentality into the box with you to try to help you just, discern what the other pitcher might do to attack you?
Honestly, I feel like the pitcher and the catcher have the two most advantages on the field because you see better than anybody else in the field like where the strike zone's going to be, and out of the hand like a lot of the times what the ball's doing. And yeah, you just like I said, it's more like the zone, where the zone's going to be.
That dugout playlist is always rocking too, and you guys always know how to have a party. What's your favorite song on this year's playlist?
I really like my walk-up song, but it's so hard. I feel
We
like Ayla's walk-up or Kylie's walk-up song, it's a party. Like that just gets the team going.
we got to talk about your walk-up song, how you chose it, why you chose it, and what it says about you.
It's First Person Shooter by Drake, and it's the big as the what part, and I just feel like it's just like it's kind of like me. Like it's either like a home run or just like I am good in big moments.
I know Ghost was the big energy drink last year. Is that still it, or what's the drink preference in the dugout this year?
For energy drink, it is the Ghost, but I feel like a lot of times it's like Starbucks. Everybody has a strawberry refresher.
What's your favorite pitch to throw? Like the one that it has a special place in your heart right now?
Rise ball.
Yeah. No. Easy question. What was the one that was hardest to develop though? The one that you worked on the most and you're so proud that you have it in your bag of tools now?
Probably my changeup. I worked a lot on that over the off season, and I know I haven't thrown it that much recently, but I feel like later on in the season, like during more into tournament play, we'll definitely be seeing that more because it's became a really big pitch for me.
It's okay. You're keeping that change up close to
Just
the
put
vest.
it in the back of
Yeah,
everyone's
put it-
mind going into tournament. There's going to be another level of difficulty. Superstitions. I feel like everyone's got at least some small ones. Some have more than others. Do you have any softball superstitions?
My eye black. I have to have that eye black on before every game, or else I don't know. I haven't played a game since freshman season without it.
We've been asking every softball player this so far this year, so you have to be asked it too. Softball icks. What are some of yours?
Ears out of visors, or it's definitely ears out of visor. Like you have to wear your visor covering your ears, or it just kind of looks weird.
I mean, keeping count. That's got 2 answers so far, so that's in the lead right now with all the softball players we've asked. So maybe at the end of the year we'll have a most icked thing on YSN.
So I know you're a softball super fan. Who was some of your favorite college softball players?
Najee Kennedy from Stanford. I watched her play last year against Georgia, and just like you see how good she is on the field, but like on TV. But watching her in person, like it's just like a whole nother thing. And we saw her like one of her first games of her career, just seeing like how pumped and into it is. I love watching her play.
Sid, one of the things that we like to do with these player profiles, of course, you've been a part of them, is give the player the chance to take the spotlight off themselves a little bit, shining on their support system. One, do that for you now. I want to give you the time to thank the people that have been there for you throughout your journey.
I want to thank my parents and my sister for always having my back no matter what, and my mom for being my travel buddy, my dad for being my coach all the way up. I want to thank Coach Juan for, honestly, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be at Georgia Tech right now, and my Lady Dukes coach, and just Ed Beavers for also being there all along the way and helping me. Like, whenever I get down on myself or, like, I know my mechanics are going wrong, I go to him and, like, they're immediately fixed. And just the Fitch coaching staff, they've always been there for me.
Sid, we thank you so much for the time that you give us out of your very busy days just to get a little bit of a profile into yourself in this season too. Wish you the best of luck going forward the rest of the season, as I know you guys have some unfinished business.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. This has been another edition of Player Profile with the ace over at Austintown, Sydney Watts.